The woman who dressed Hao to look like her dead boyfriend died minutes after he escaped her apartment. 3 months later, Hao still heard her voice. "You promised to stay. Why are you leaving me again?" In August 2016, Chin met his former college roommate at a railway station. Hao looked pale and exhausted. He carried one bag and said he was returning home to find someone who understood strange local matters. They sat in a cafe, and Hao explained why. After college, Hao had taken a security job at an apartment complex. One afternoon, while checking the rooftop, he found a young woman standing beyond the safety rail. She said her boyfriend had died and she no longer wanted to live. Hao told her she was still young and should not throw away her future. The woman studied him. "Do you really think I'm beautiful?" Hao said yes, hoping to calm her. "Then be my boyfriend." Afraid a refusal might upset her, Hao agreed. He helped her back over the rail and walked her home. Once she was safe, he assumed the promise no longer mattered. The next evening, she appeared at the security desk. She said she missed him and asked him upstairs. Inside her apartment, Hao found a table covered with food. A new suit lay on the sofa, more expensive than anything he owned. She asked him to wear it. When Hao came out, the woman went still. She stared at his face and the way the jacket fit. Then she began to cry. Behind her, Hao noticed a framed photograph of a young man wearing an almost identical suit. The hairstyle was different, but the resemblance was close enough. She had not bought the clothes for Hao. She was trying to bring her dead boyfriend back. She pulled him to the table and poured a cocktail. "It was his favorite," she said. "You always liked it." She was speaking as if Hao were the man in the photograph. She filled a second glass but never touched it. Hao hesitated, yet she watched until he drank. Soon the room began to tilt. Before losing consciousness, he heard her say, "This time, you won't leave me." Hao woke with a pounding headache. The suit jacket had been buttoned around him again, although he remembered taking it off. The woman sat beside him, smiling. "Darling, you're awake." Hao pulled off the jacket and headed for the door. Her expression changed. "You're going back to that other woman, aren't you?" There was no other woman. Hao told her she needed help and wanted nothing more to do with her. Her anger vanished. "You said I was younger and prettier?" she whispered. "So why won't you stay?" When she turned away, Hao ran. He rushed outside. Before he left the courtyard, people began shouting. The woman had fallen from an upper floor. Hao resigned, but leaving the complex did not end it. At first, he heard her only while falling asleep. Then the whisper followed him into empty stairwells, late buses, and silent rooms where every device had been switched off. Sometimes she called him Hao. Other times, she called him by her dead boyfriend's name. But she always ended with the same words. "You promised to stay." That was why Hao was returning home. He hoped an old local practitioner might remove whatever had attached itself to him. As the station announced his train, Hao suddenly looked past Chin's shoulder. His face tightened. Chin turned, but no one was there. Hao picked up his bag. "She says I'm leaving her again," he whispered. Chin heard only the departure announcement. Hao boarded the train alone. No one knew whether the voice came from guilt, fear, or something that had followed him out of the apartment. After returning home, Hao stopped answering Chin's calls. The last message Chin received contained one sentence: "She still thinks I'm him." For more strange mysteries, unexplained encounters, and dark legends, subscribe to Mistcurrent Stories.